How's it going, fellas? Today I'm going to be showing you my top 5 tips and tricks to improve in FIFA 21. Starting with trick number 1, and that is to always have at least 2 or 3 formations ready to play in every single game that you play. Now, what I mean by that is I've always got 3. One defensive one that I can switch to when I'm just trying to hold out a 1 or 2 goal lead. Then I also have the starting formation that I usually start, which this year seems to be the 4-1-2-1-2 narrow. And then I have a third option, which may be more attacking, but it's mainly just to switch it up if I'm struggling to break through a player's defense. This year I'm using the 4-3-3. The big difference for me here is that when I play in a full 1-2-1-2, which is a very narrow formation relying on the 1-2s between the strikers and the cams, I can easily swap to a 4-3-3, which gives me a lot more width and makes it harder for my opponent to defend when I switch between formations in the middle of the game. I do, however, recommend that the 2 formations that you use going forward still are relatively similar defensively, because you don't want to be swapping up all too much during the middle of the game, otherwise that might confuse you and actually have a negative impact on your gameplay. As you can see in the gameplay below, these are some of the formations, tactics and instructions that I've been using and that have been working really well for me and the team I'm using. So I highly recommend you go in even just to a kickoff game and try some of these, or try it straight onto your ultimate team, because trust me, this method has really helped me improve when I'm struggling to break someone down or trying to hold out a win. Now, I'm sure you've all heard of the saying, practice makes perfect, and as annoying as it is, it's true in FIFA too. So what I recommend for you to do is to just go into a kickoff game, lower the levels, play against a bad team, whatever, but just practice the new meta, practice the new skills, or just practice the things you enjoy doing in FIFA this year, because it will help you just to get comfortable. Muscle memory, it's gonna help, trust me. It's annoying, but it's gonna work. Now, as you can see just in the gameplay, I'm just in a kickoff game, messing about, trying to learn the new things they've added to FIFA 21. The agile dribbling and the locking onto players and making runs. It seems difficult, but the more you practice it in an offline game, the better it will work in online, and it will be a massive jump. So I would also suggest that you slowly increase the level, even if it's offline, before you jump on multiplayer, because it's not going to work if you go straight from doing it in beginner to playing online. It's just not going to work, mate. And as much as I sound as a parent when I say it, is to take a break. Now, I don't just mean to take a break to relax from gaming, no one wants to do that. But take a break after you lose a game. There's nothing worse than getting into a downward spiral, especially when you're trying to win weekend league games or even just division rivals. If you lose a game or if you're struggling, just take even just 5 minutes, just walk outside, go get a drink or something. Just don't keep building up the anger and the annoyance at the game. It's just gonna make it worse. So just disconnect for 5 minutes, splash your face with some water and get back at the grind. Another trick, as you can see in the gameplay, is just to mess about with the different settings. For example here, just the camera settings. Make sure you're playing with what you're actually comfortable with. My personal preference is to play with the default, but for a lot of people, it might not be. For example, I've seen a lot of people this year use the co-op camera, as it gives you a wider view of the field and allows you to potentially see options that you wouldn't on the default or the telecamera. And as much as people might tell you one's better than the other, it's all about what you feel the most comfortable with and enjoy playing with the most. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Everyone's each to their own. So just make sure you go on a kickoff game and just mess about. And the final tip might seem straightforward, but it really isn't when you think about it. Use all your 3 subs. Players' fitness makes a difference. Even if you're swapping on a centre back, even if you're playing centre backs don't have a yellow card or anything, just make sure that you're not going to concede that 90th minute goal, or bring on an extra striker if it's a tight game. Don't just have that one super sub. Make sure you use all 3. It's worth it. You're not going to lose out on anything. So make sure you have some 3 overpowered subs that you can bring on in every position. I personally always look to have 5 decent overpowered players on my bench. 1 defender, 2 midfielders and 2 attackers. I usually try to have 1 attacker that can go out wide and 1 that's better centrally. Same for the midfield. I like to have 1 more attacking midfielder and 1 more defensive, and then usually either a really fast centre back or a sturdy full back to fill in any of the positions at the back. Realistically, you're probably not going to need a keeper, but if you want to add that, go ahead and add that. Anyways, today's been a short video, but I just thought I'd give you the 5 easy tricks just to hopefully help you improve in FIFA 21. A player review coming up this week, potentially another squad builder, so please hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you later, boys.